Okay, good to get a win. Guys found a way, and that's the important part. Great job, Bills Mafia, showing up. Only a short trip, but we definitely heard them. Even last night when we came into town. So I really appreciate their support. Want to point out a couple guys. James Cook, another 100-yard effort. Obviously not just one guy in terms of when that happens, but he's having a great season, 9th, I believe, of the season. Dion, up against a challenge today, big-time challenge, and able to, keep Miles at bay. I think he got one or a half a one, so it was great competition there by those two guys and the O-line overall. And then Greg Rousseau, big-time production today, as well as Jordan Poyer on the defensive side, and then DQ getting his first interception. Thought the stops in the second half, in particular the fourth quarter, were big for the defense. 2 takeaways overall for the game, leading to 9 points by the offense. So offensively, I thought we started well. Second half, not so much. Defensively, didn't start as well. Came back in the second half and did some things to help us win the game there, obviously. Toughness of overall the football team. Good to see, but still plenty to work on. So we need to do the basics, the basic things better. You asked me what that is. I'll start with basic fundamentals, and then it'll go into executing, the plays, the scheme, what have you. So, but all in all, good to get a win. We'll take it, and we've got a lot of work to do as we move forward this week.
Can you talk about Greg Rousseau's performance? He pretty much, that fourth quarter, he kind of dominated for you.
Yeah, that was huge. We needed that from Greg. We believe that he can do that. He can impact the game. So it's good to see him get back in that mindset. The grounding call was huge. Forcing that late in the game, backing them up, and then being able to win the game in 4 minutes on the offensive side. The play to Jackson Halls was critical for us right there. Jax did a great job, Josh as well, and then getting the quarterback sneak to end it pretty much.
You had said a few weeks ago, Sean, somebody asked you about Greg and his season, because it had been a little bit frustrating for him.
Yeah.
Do you think, today obviously, but have you seen something come around with him?
Well, it's not that he hasn't been trying. He's been giving great effort. Greg's built that way. He's a very conscientious young man. I think, when you just go back and look at it, hey, we felt like we had a chance to get after their O-line a little bit today. They've got some guys out. But having said that, it takes, the physicality in one's rush. And it takes all 4 guys to do that as well. So, but his production today was certainly significant and needed and felt, as you saw it down the stretch there.
Coach, I know you're not going to be satisfied with your run defense today, but for the second straight week, your defense is coming up with critical plays, critical moments. What does that signify to you when you see your defense when they have to make a play?
Yeah. Well, it's like Greg. Sal asked about Greg. Those are big-time plays that Greg made for us, and we need that every week. We've talked before about getting home with 4, being able to get home with 4, not just on third down, but also first and second. And then in this case, they went for it on fourth down. We were able to, get off the field there, get the ball to our offense and scoring position. So, again, do we need it to be more consistent? Yes. You can't allow a team to do what they did. So we're continuing to push. We got to continue to push. To give ourselves a chance to win the game. And the turnovers, the takeaways have been big for us as well. So in addition to the adjustments by the staff in the fourth quarter in particular, and the guys showed up and they made the plays they needed to make.
The touchdown run by James in the first half, the first 2 was phenomenal individual effort. Just how big was his efforts?
You talk about when he was reaching. Did he reach on that one?
The long one.
Oh, the long one, yeah. Yeah.
Both good, but the long one especially.
Yeah. We knew we were going to have to be able to run the football. If you drop back and throw it every player too much, right? Against Miles, he's going to win some of those. So we felt like we had to be able to run the football, be two-dimensional, and usually when you have a run like that, the big one you're talking about, Jay, you've got wide receivers blocking down the field, which is a good thing for us as well. Something we pride ourselves in.
Third down, Coach, on offense, what made it so tricky today?
Well, I thought in the first half we were doing a good job of winning first down. We only, I believe, had 2 third downs in the first half. So we were doing what we intended to do in the first half. In the second half, we ended up with 3 for 8, I believe it was. So too many third and longs. I think the average I have it down is 7 yards. So we go from almost no third downs to a handful or more, and then they're not shorter third downs or longer third downs. So again, when you face a great pass rushing unit like this, it makes it hard to convert in those windows.
John, you obviously wins the win. The wide receivers again, really, really well. Not that the passing game did a whole lot today, but again, another day where your wide receivers just, I know they're blocking,
Yeah.
but they're not catching, which is kind of important. What do you need there?
Well, just overall as a team, that being one area, I would say, Sal. Defensively, we've talked about that. Special teams, we had some kind of things today that didn't go the way they need to go. So, like I said, the work continues. We've got to continue to improve as a football team if we want to continue to win moving forward. So that's the summary for you. A lot to be happy about. You celebrate a win. Especially this time of year, a lot to be grateful for. That said, there's plenty. Let's just start, listing them one thing at a time of things we've got to work on, and the guys know that. It means a lot to our guys. They work hard, the staff as well. So we go back to work and trying to make sure that we improve in the areas we need to.
Sean, is there any long-term concerns about Josh's foot? Was that something you talked to the training staff yet?
I don't have a follow-up yet from Nate. Josh, it seems like he's in good spirits in there. We'll see as we go. I'm sure they'll have further evaluations that they'll get to me.
Did you get the sense that he was impacted at all in the second half by it?
Josh isn't one to lead on. If he is, he's so tough, so competitive. It's hard to tell what's really going on inside of that heartbeat of his. He just loves being out there with his teammates. So looked like he threw the ball, well, but outside of that, I don't have a great feel for where he's at right now because I just haven't had. I've visited with him shortly, but not long enough yet.
You said the pass rush you knew was going to be key because their offensive line kind of.
Yeah, they were down a couple guys.
You wanted to blitz as much as you did, though, John?
Yeah, yes and no. Just once in a while you got a blitz to send some reinforcements, and I thought Bobby did a good job with that. A couple things we could execute better when the blitz was dialed up there, but it certainly adds to what you do.
Coach, prior to Shaq getting hurt, it looked like Terrell was coming in base sets, play base, but Shaq
Yeah.
still staying at middle. Just a decision there to kind of go that way.
In terms of that plan initially coming into the game, yeah, no, it's good to have TB back out there. He's one of our big-time leaders. Has a C on his chest. And he came in and ended up playing really the remainder of the game at a certain point there. So it's every man up every week. So you got to be ready to go. And he stepped in, and I thought did a real nice job.
Any injuries? Shaq was one.
I think Jordan Poyer. I don't know the extent of it yet, but Jordan Poyer, I believe, was not available had we had to go out there again. All right, thank you guys.
What do you have, Sean?